This morning, sun kissed my face. Grab my coffee, life's a fast-paced race. I know. I put on my shoes, and no time to waste. Headed out the door, no stress, no stress. I'm feeling good now. For my groove is late, a brand new day just left again. Easy Monday motivation. Who knows what to do? Feels good. Don't try to slow it down. We keep moving to the sound. Easy Monday motivation. In the rhythm, it's deep in my soul. Fantastic energy got me in control. Oh, hear the beat drop, you know we won't stop. Trust the process, climb me to the top, the top. We're in the air, so I need some more. Each step forward, easy Monday motivation, we touch new ground, positive in my body, that's all right, drawn right, feel divine, easy Monday motivation, so good, if it feels good, no time to slow it down, we keep moving to the sound, easy Monday motivation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Easy Monday Motivation with your host, E, the AOC, of course, my queen, Johnny, my liege, and my guy, CT. And we are here with you on this wonderful Monday, live, coming to you live. It's been so long since we've been live. I'm about to do it again, live.
Oh, we're live. Sorry, my bad. I'm sorry, it's not.
Yes.
Right.
We are live.
Kenny, Cam can't get that. Can't. All right.
No, we can cut that out.
We can't cut anything out because we are actually live. So whatever you see, whatever you get is going to be what it is. But, you know, as always, we have a wonderful show for you guys today. There's so many different conversations that we've been prepping for this because it is thematic season and we are dealing with wellness this month. So this entire month, what up, sis? This entire month, we're going to be dealing with different topics of wellness from various subjects and various guests that we're going to have. So today we do have a special guest that's going to come on and speak to some of the content. But before we do all of that, I got to check in with my people. So I'm going to come to you first, CT, then come to Johnny. But CT, how you been, man? What's going on?
I'm trying to be as close to mayhem early as I can on the live, but my in the spirit of wellness, my Snickers bar wasn't coming up the way I wanted it to because it was too close to the camera. And then my Reese's cup, like it wasn't coming up.
Whoa, what is going on?
What are you?
And then the vegan Oreos, like Oreos are vegan. So if you're out there and you want to be able to have some healthy cookies or something that supplement your diet, Oreos do it. Hey, I'm good.
So we need a health expert on this month about wellness. You got a lot of snacks over there, CT.
Yeah, that's a lot of sugar, man.
See, why are
y'all
judging?
Know about this?
Why are y'all judging? But Mel isn't here. Why are you talking about Mel? You asking?
Perfect. Good. Let me for now. Yeah, let's reach out.
My own man. I do my own thing. Why are y'all?
Let me see. Okay, I can.
Mel, he is eating sugar right now.
It's all still in the packet. It's still in the packet. It hasn't actually been.
Okay.
And in the spirit of me being a good employee and all the things that I do, I didn't get those for me. I get those for because I want to be able to share and support those around me. And I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm not traveling this week.
Yay.
Oh, that's cool.
But I hit the road. Oh
There
shoot.
she go.
I
Thanks,
hit
Mel.
the road the next couple of weeks. See, this is why we shouldn't do lives, which is why we should always pre-record everything. So
Nope.
that
Always
there are real moments. And
Nah.
besides, the emoji she just gave was not an emoji of shock or anything. It was simply a
No, it's
smile
more like-
emoji with a different, like she smiles different than others might
No,
smile.
she don't.
That's not a smile emoji. That's the emoji. So yeah, let's pull that back up. Yeah, that's not a smile.
Yeah, oh, here you go. In case you didn't see
Yeah,
it.
let me make sure you know that she is not smiling.
I was, hey, Mary
Hey,
Douglas.
mama.
Hey, how you doing? I don't even know how to say how I am. I'm good. I'm glad to be with y'all. Like, we're in live. I can't believe we're live again. So I'm gonna try to do. No, I'm not. I'm gonna do the best I can to ensure that I act as responsible as possible, so that the easy motivationers don't get. So they still get CT. They get a little bit of the chocolate drop, but there is hints and phases of in and out of mayhem that I must introduce into season 3, because that's just how we said it was going to happen. So I'm happy to be here. Health is good, all is well, good things happening, more to follow in the next couple of weeks. But I'll tell you, I know, Johnny, today's a big day. It's a big day.
Today's a big day.
I don't know why it's a big day for you, but it is a big day. I feel that. I feel like
it's a very big day.
It is a big day.
Since we're live and you say, hey, like somebody on the spot, it's a big day for you. Now they're like, well, why is it a big day? But Johnny, it's a big day for you. I'm excited for that.
Wait, is it a big day other than this episode? Is this
I don't know, Johnny. Is there something we should know? No.
No, but now I'm just nervous.
This wasn't the big announcement of your nickname?
No.
Oh, okay.
Johnny?
Yep.
Johnny, are you okay?
Are you
so
okay?
Anyway, for me, I'm doing really good. Life is great, you know. I don't even know what to say. Can we just move on? Update.
Okay. All right. No. CT, thank you.
Hey.
It's my fault.
CT has thrown us all off. So thank you, CT, for your check-in. Johnny, my leash, I want to come to you and see how have you been. I know, there's a lot going on in Eastland House. How's everything going? I know your daughter just celebrated a birthday. I know my dude Ace is doing pretty good too. I know you've learned a lot about chocolate Labrador. So what's going on? What's going on too?
So my daughter, she did not celebrate a birthday, but it was in honor of like senior year,
okay,
or whatever. And I can't handle it, y'all. There are moments where I am just I'll just see her and I'll just bust out in tears as she's walking around the house. And I'm like, oh my God, you're really a senior. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. I'm feeling all of the emotions, but at the same time, y'all, don't tell her. But at the same time, like, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to pack your bags and see what the world has for you out there. That's what it's time for. So I don't know. I have a range of all the emotions.
Please, all of Johnny's family, please share this last.
Well,
you're right. You're right.
I will say this to you that when I went through the experience of my son moving away, and I woke up, it was like day 3 or something, and I woke up and I was like, "Where's my son?" Like that distance became really real when I knew I couldn't just go and see him that day, and I knew I had to go through a whole bunch to be there for him. It really weighed on me. It was very heavy. But the good thing is I didn't actually birth my son. You know what I'm saying? I just contributed to his birth. So it was really easy for me to move past that point when I started thinking like, I don't gotta feed you.
Yeah.
There's so many things I don't have to deal with now that you're gone.
I know. See, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, let me not celebrate your departure as much as I can celebrate my independence and freedom now. Yes. This is the twofold thing. High five to you, high five to you. We're good. That's what I see as an empty nester. I think an empty nester, when you go into that role, you should instantly high-fiving yourself, high-fiving your kid. I'm so proud of you getting out of here. Get out of here, bye.
Yeah. That's why I said I'm feeling all the things.
I told you can sleep on the couch. You'll never have a bedroom. You'll always have a couch here. See, that's what I'm saying. But that's a dad thing. I can do that.
Listen, you get excited for a little while, and then somehow
they come back.
What?
Oh, okay.
They do what?
Maybe we should just
they come back. Yeah, no, okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna do my check-in then because I don't want that. So, all right. I'm glad that everything's okay with you, Johnny, my leash. So I did happen to talk to my son today. He's doing good in school because his college is at a higher elevation. He's in Arizona, which is always hot, right? They don't even have real winters, but because he's at a higher elevation now, he's gonna experience winter in Arizona. So he's like, Dad, I need boots and gloves and hat. I'm like, just go down the mountain. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm gonna send you all the stuff that you need, son, of course, but just go down the mountain, okay? I'm just saying, like, you don't need all those things 20 feet down the mountain. But
just cool. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Like, if it get cold, just go down. I mean, it's like it's always going to be hot at the bottom, so you don't have to stay up there. But no, I mean, I'm happy for him. My other son is doing pretty good too. Everything is good over here in the Scotch with E realm. I did get to do a private cooking event not too long ago. It was really fun. Had a wonderful time over Labor Day weekend. Wonderful couple. Got to make a wonderful Mexican dish for them. It was beautiful. Nice. It was so beautiful. I had so much fun doing that. And they booked me again. So if you're looking for private, dinners and stuff like that, you can reach out to Scotch with E, see what's going on.
Will not be disappointed. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah. And I got a party coming up.
Where do they find you if they want?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. You can actually email me at www. I'm just playing. There is a scotchwithe@gmail that you can find me on. You can email me directly, or you can message in here when we're on the podcast. That way I can talk to you live on a live. You want some food? Holla at your boy. Okay, now that's it. That's my update. Everything has been good, but I am very excited about today because we're going to talk about financial wellness. Okay, yes. Now let's start this conversation by doing the right thing, right? Let's talk about some of the fun things that we think of when it comes to financial wellness, right? Do we think about freedom? Do we think about choice and opportunity? Do we think about wealth overall? Because a lot of times when we think of financial wellness, it's not always synonymous with financial standings as much as it's about education.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But a byproduct of education is a change in your standings most of the time, right? So I look forward to today's conversation because I would like to see today that we can have a conversation that may change people's perspective and help grow their standing. So, Johnny, I'm going to kick it over to you to introduce our guest in the episode today.
Y'all, first of all, I was trying to follow along in the chat. I might need some stronger glasses because I'm over here squinting.
They're goofy.
Old, y'all. I know, right? I can't see it.
They got dollar signs. They got the money face dollar signs.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about money. I am so honored to introduce our guest for today. So last week, y'all remember when we talked about cousin twins?
Yes.
If there is a such thing, which E is not convinced, I don't think I'm convinced either. But if there is a such thing as cousin twins, this is the one. Our guest is definitely my cousin twin. She's a wife, she's a mother, and she's here today because she is here to talk about all things financial. She's the owner of Tea Talk, where she loves to serve up the financial tea. So without further ado, let's bring on our guest, Mrs. Teana Sykes. Come join us.
Woo-hoo! Let's go.
Hey, y'all.
What's up?
Hello.
I'm so stoked to be here, being backstage and hearing my cousin to introduce me. That's just all the feels. All the
love. Yes. So
we're cousins by blood, but we're friends by choice. Has been my homegirl for a
bars already.
very long time.
Very long time. Absolutely. One of the most trusted friends I have. So I'm so happy you decided to say yes and to join us. But all I have to do is just say, hey, T, do you want to do this? And we're going to talk about finances. Tiana's like, yep, absolutely. I'm like, do you know the time? Do you know the place? Don't matter. We can make it work because she loves all things money. So let's just like dive right into it then, Teana. First of all, tell us, why is money such a passion for you, that this whole topic?
Well, I'll start by saying that there's two things in life that you cannot avoid, and that would be health and money. Now, you can try to avoid them if you want to, but it wouldn't be wise. And I would say that for me, I've always been a numbers girl, always been a numbers geek, got a mathematics degree. It goes that deep. However, I became a teenage mom when I was in high school. And the idea, I remember vividly going to the grocery store with my mom. And you know, your mom sends you to another aisle to go get stuff so you guys can move it along. And I remember being in the aisle with all the baby stuff and thinking, what have I done? What have I done to my family? I am also a product of divorced parents. So by that time, my parents were divorced. So it was my mom. I wouldn't say they were single parents because they were both very active in my life. But I just knew that one more mouth to feed that I wasn't going to feed. I wasn't prepared to do that. I wasn't prepared to buy Similac or diapers or any of the things. And I just thought, what have I done? But I was always studious, and I ended up going to school on scholarship. Okay. But I couldn't take my daughter with me. And so it became my life's mission to not have to ask my parents for anything, because they were caring for my daughter. And so that's how I began, insatiable thirst to make money so that I could take care of myself and also be able to do for her while she was still with my parents, and then be independent at the time when I brought her with me to live. So that is where the passion ignited. And that's where it started. Then I got a chance to work at Chase, and I was privy to people with like gargantuan credit limits. And I was like, where are these people? And how come I don't know them? I don't know anybody with a credit line that big. Oh my gosh, what are they doing that we're not? And so the more education, the more things that I learned, the more I just became more and more passionate about all things green.
I love that. I love that. And T, you're so passionate about money, and you're also a believer too. So oftentimes we are taught like, you'll get your reward when you get to heaven, you know, or like money is the root to all evil and all of these things. But you are one person who, you don't separate like your faith and your finances. They go hand in hand, and you are a true believer that like, you don't have to wait for that reward, if you will. So talk a little bit about that, and like why that means something to you and why they go hand in hand.
Well, the word says that I would that you prosper and be in good health. And I believe that health is physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially, and that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. Well, it ain't laid up for me for when I cross over, clearly. It also says that we should be the hands and feet of Jesus. Right? If we see someone without clothes, we should be the one to clothe them. If we see someone who's homeless, we should be the ones to house them. And if we're not in a position to not only take care of ourselves and be good stewards of what God has given us, and also give back even just a tenth of what he's given us in order to propel the next person, then what good are you? What good are you here? And so I believe that my faith fuels my passion for being a good steward of that which God has given me. So I think a lot of people misquote that scripture when they say money is evil. It's the love of money that's evil. So if you get it and you hoard it, it's probably evil. If you give it and you can never give back, you can't find anything charitable to give to. There's nothing you're passionate about enough that you would part with your money, because it's all about a heart posture. Truly, when it comes to being charitable and giving, even in your church, that's about your heart posture and whether or not you believe that God is in a position to be your provider or not. So,
CT, I was setting you up with this one.
I'm trying to hold, as they say, I'm trying to hold my peace. Let the
Hold your
Lord.
mule.
I'm holding. Those of you who are in the feed right now, you need to share this out. You need to click share. So somebody who is not on this pod right now needs to connect to this pod, because there's some gems, some wisdom that are foundationally strong coming from this woman's mouth right now. So let's talk about it, right? So I honor deeply that there is this connection between your humanity and your spirituality. And sometimes people create this disconnect between what you do and who you are. So when you start thinking about who you are in relation to the green, the money, the dollars, the cheddar, like how do you make sure that they are integrated and they're not separate things for you?
Oh, that's a really good question. For me, money is a means, it's a tool.
Good.
So it's just an extension of who I am. Like I said before, I think that all things start in terms of a heart posture. Where are you in terms of, well, for me, being in line with my faith, it guides my decision making, right? So when you are clear about who you are and what you're here for, you can be clear about how you utilize varying tools. One of the things that has become my mantra is that I want to leave here empty. I want to leave here having done and maximized every gift that God has given me. So whether that's singing or that's acting or that's speaking or giving, those are the things that I want to do. So not only do I want to have access to all the things that God has for me, like I want only what he wants for me, and that's it. But I also don't want to get to heaven and be like, well, Teana, you did a pretty good job, but remember this, this, and this. I really wish you would have used it because those people and those people and those people would have been blessed by it. They would have gotten to know a little bit more about me if you had just been given your full self. And so for me, for me, money is just a tool. It is an extension or a byproduct of what it is that God has graced me with. So that's just how I think about it.
No, I love it. And I think that sometimes we get lost in trying to be too spiritual, that we're no naturally good
No,
or
here for good.
natural,
Yeah.
spiritual. And so I honor deeply that there is this consciousness that you presented to us that is the connection between the two. I'd love to go a little bit more tactical, a little more granular in this idea that if I am in a place where I have this sense for who I am spiritually, I got to be practically good. You said it earlier that you have to be a good steward. So what does it mean to be a good steward of your money? Like, what's the real practical conversation that we need to have around what stewardship looks like for the listener?
Well, I think that stewardship is a matter of first knowing where you stand. And this is not necessarily a spiritual concept. This pertains to financial literacy at its very foundation. The first thing you have to do is budget. And you can't budget without knowing where you stand. And so you've got to understand how much money are you bringing in and what are your expenses? All of them. Right. So not only your food and your shelter and clothing, right, but also all them subscriptions, all of them, every single one of them. One of the things that I like to say in terms of Tea Talk is that budgeting is really, it can be like you mentioned budgeting and people like, oh, Lord, here they go again. Can't I get to the bag without budgeting? No. Simply put, no, you cannot. I feel like budgeting is really just about being a boss of your money, understanding how much you bring in and where it's going, you being the one to tell it where it's going and how it's going to serve you and others. So when it comes to budgeting, you have to know how much money you're bringing in to the team. Also know where are your expenses. Again, food, not just groceries, but how much are you going to spend at restaurants? How much are you going to spend in fast food? Is there a birthday party coming up? How much do you plan on spending on the gift? It's about being present, both present today, but also forward thinking. What are your goals, and how do you tie those goals to your finances, so that you can do all the things that you purpose in your heart to do? That's stewardship.
That's stewardship. And honey, this one was a steward. I mean, we would be 20 years old at Target, and Teana like, I ain't got no money. We're like, Teana, you know you got some money. She's like, I do, but not for this. I mean, Teana would be holding up the line because she says, I have to get out my checkbook right now and make sure everything is on. I'm like, I know that's right, Teana.
Teana,
you penny.
Are you? I know we got to share, but that now,
Yeah.
Johnny, you pulling on me, right? Because I'm like, okay, all right. So tactically speaking, like, are you a cash person? Do you believe in credit? Is like loans? Like, how do you play that out? How do you think about that?
They're all tools. They're all tools. And I say to each his own, as long as you have a good understanding and grasp on what you're doing, why you're doing it. So I'm not a cash person. However, I am human just like the next person. And so typically summertime is not so great for me and my household. I'm just being honest. My husband and I, our cousin, Johnny and I's cousin, Shantae, shout out to Shantae, will say, when I go on vacation, I balls. So while we prepare for vacation, we have a budget. We know how much we're going to spend. When we get there, you're going out to eat all the time, and you're shopping, and you're going to, excursions or entertainment, all that kind of stuff. And it's really hard to pull back even once you get home. Like, oh, I don't feel like cooking, so I guess we're going out for the fourth time this week. It can get really ugly in the summer. So one of the things that my husband and I will do is when we get back from a vacation, we'll go on a cash diet. That way we don't have the opportunity to overspend, because we know that that's our thorn, that we typically come back and extend the vacation even though we're at home. So that's one thing that I use cash for. We use a cash diet. I am a credit person day to day, though. I utilize my credit cards for the rewards. I pay it off in full because I'm not spending more than I have for any one category. But I'm using my credit card in order to get the points, so that they're essentially paying me to use their card.
Yeah, that's good.
So, tactically speaking, I think it's really about having a command of things, having an understanding of, oh, this card will give me 5 points back if I use it at a gas station, and this one will give me 3 points back if I use it at a hotel, etc. Grocery stores. Amazon is this rewards for this particular card this month. So just having a command and understanding of all the tools that are at your disposal, and then maximizing them, I think is the thing to do. When it comes to loan, if you need one, you have to know the difference between a need and a want, however. But if you need one, that's what credit is for. That's why you've worked on it, in order to be able to obtain that loan. You should understand the terms. You should understand whether or not the payback fits within your budget. Mm-hmm. What are the risks? What are the pros? What are the cons? What's the return?
Yeah.
And then make a decision. So just being cognizant of our decisions and the risks and the pros, the cons, I think puts us in a better position to utilize all the tools that are at our disposal, whichever you may choose. So I'm not pro any one thing, cash or card. I don't think it's a one size fits all thing. It's what's good for you.
Okay.
So I have a fun question for you, because everybody's talking about the financial aspect, which is great. And I agree with you. All financial products in theory are just tools that you should understand to utilize to make good decisions that benefit you for managing your life, right? And your finances. Mm-hmm. I want you to talk about the young single mom that was inspired to go into this because of the actual physical impacts of lack of financial wellness. Because we don't always talk about the actual physical, emotional, mental impacts of lack of financial wellness. So I would like to hear more about your experience and those people you also coach and guide, and some of the actual emotional, physical, and mental stresses that you see people go through because they're undergoing this stressful debt ratio, this I don't have this figured out life. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I can, because there is such a thing as the psychology of money. It's actually a great book if you haven't picked it up. It taking myself back to that time. I didn't know what I didn't know. I was really naive. So I'm 17 years old. I've got a daughter. By the time I'm ready to graduate, she's a year and a half, and I have to leave her because I have to go and better myself for her. But being separated from your child.
Yeah.
Not a great experience. And one of the things that I've created, Speed 25 years, she literally just turned 25. 25 years later, or 23 years later, I created a game called Secure the Bag, where kids get the opportunity, when they walk through the door of the game, they magically become 25. And now they're getting a career and they're seeing how much it's going to cost, what taxes are going to cost, what student loans are going to cost, credit. And then they figure out how much money they have left to live on. And then they make decisions. But one of the most comical and yet impactful parts of the game is that they play Plinko to determine how many kids they have.
Oh,
and because you go,
Yeah,
and so there's a lot of reactions, a lot of big reactions there.
Oh man.
And you can get anywhere from 0 to 4.
Okay.
Oh, kids.
Right. 4
Oh,
kids.
Lord.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby is right.
Oh,
And you
oh,
could,
Sherry.
if I could do, see, I wish I could do like a reel of their reactions. That's a good idea, Teana. Thanks, God.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good idea to actually just start taking video of them just at that spot, because there's such a range of emotion that goes along with getting children. But one of the things that I bring this up, because at the end of the game, I always call out who had how many kids, and the person with 4 kids always ends up coming back to the bank to either go into their savings or get a second job or get a third job, which is the max. And they're always like, oh, I got 4 kids. I don't want these kids. Blah, blah. I wish I could take them back. All those things. And I'm like, first of all, I got 4 kids in real life. So miss me with that. But one of the things that we do, exactly. But one of the things we do in the Sum It Up exercise, I say, well, what was missing from this experience, especially those of you that had kids? And sometimes it takes them a while to come around to it. Many times they just say child support. And I'm like, yeah, that part, because it's not something that's really meant to be shouldered alone.
Yeah.
They go through the game and they get stressed out about having to get the second job or third job. I'm like, yeah, I know you're stressed out about money, but guess what? You haven't done homework yet. You haven't vacuumed. You haven't done any laundry. You haven't washed no dishes. And so shout out to all the single moms out there fighting through all the things, not only the financial hardship, but and shouldering it solely on their own. I do that as a lesson to them, because usually it's somewhere between 8th and 12th grade that I've been serving in this way. It's to say, you have the power. You get to choose. Nobody told me that. I think I knew, but I didn't know because I was, again, a little naive. But thinking back to all of the things, more than the finances, it was a separation from my daughter. More than the finances, it was the load that I was leaving on my parents to manage. And I mean, both of them together. They're divorced, but they got a grandchild that they're trying to manage so that I can be okay, so that I could go to school, get the grades, right? So there's just so much feeling that goes into it, let alone the money part. Like, I need to be able, and I was really big on, I'm not asking anybody for anything. So it created a bit of a monster in that then became super independent, hyper independent. And I think balance is so important. And so I became out of balance in attempt to prove to those that may have thought whatever they thought, or actually they were in my head. how I felt about me, I was projecting on others and assuming that they thought anything about me. When in truth, like, girl, ain't nobody thinking about you. That's the real truth. But I ain't being on anything. We ain't even gonna get there. Truly, I felt bad about being a teenage mom. I felt like the world was against me and I was going to have an uphill climb, and I was not wrong. I felt like my path had been distorted as a result. And so it was a real fight really against myself to become the best I could be. And I probably went into overdrive as a result. So those were my impactful parts in terms of wellness. I think I went from one job to the next, just trying to make more and more money. Like there was never enough because there was something about leaving her and someone else having to care for her that did not sit well with me at all.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that makes sense. No, and I appreciate that. Thank you. That definitely makes sense. And I know there's a lot of people who, men and women, who struggle with trying to balance life by themselves, and to struggle through that path to try to learn at the same time, be responsible for yourself. A lot of people don't have that. And shout out to your parents for taking that role for you to support you so that they could see you to the next level, because we all know that without that type of support, this would have been a different story altogether.
It definitely would. And there's plenty of other different stories out there that have still managed to be successful. But it meant that they couldn't go to college, perhaps. I didn't get to go to Spelman, right? That's what I wanted. That was not my path. But shout out to O State for the greatest experience ever. But ultimately,
what school was that again?
O State. O-H-I-O, sir. I'm a Buckeye.
Not for anybody in particular. Just checking.
Just checking. Mic check.
Here we go.
1, 2, 1, 2. But I would say that not only does it impact the single parent, but it really impacts any and everyone. Employees who feel like they don't make enough or struggle financially are twice as likely to look for another job. They're more likely to take more days off work, like 16 more days, like 20 more days off work than someone who is financially secure. So it really impacts.
I know, right?
Wait, hold on.
That's almost like a month.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So hold up. So you telling me an indicator that I'm financially stable is that I still have vacation days?
Pretty much.
I'm not stable. I'm not stable.
I'm tripping because I can see it. I can picture it.
I still got
when
a lot of vacation. I don't feel financially stable. I mean, I'm good, but I didn't know those correlated. But thank you. That made a lot of sense.
Think about it.
Go ahead.
Think about it. Like if you walk outside tomorrow and you're living paycheck to paycheck, and not because it's your choice, because I advocate for paycheck to paycheck, but I can define that later. But if you live paycheck to paycheck as most people would define it, you walk outside and your car won't start or your tire is flat, what are you doing?
Walking to work. I'm walking to work.
No.
I live in a small town. We don't even have a whole lot of Ubers. So, and if you got to get an Uber, you got to pay for that.
Yeah, that's right.
I moved close enough so I'd never have to worry about that.
You did,
That's
but there's
fantastic.
a whole lot of people we knew that they just called off.
That's them 16 days right there.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh, okay,
And
okay.
it goes to absenteeism, even with kids. You get up in the morning, your day is shot. You didn't get the kids up on time. They didn't miss the bus. Everybody is just at home. It can spiral and get bad.
That happened. I saw that all the time. You're absolutely right about that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I remember days like that. You know what I'm saying? When dad was a little too inebriated, didn't wake up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, kids missed the bus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I hopped in the car and took them to school because I need the time alone. So yes, I would have to make that work. No, I get that. Now I have an off financial wellness question. Everybody that has been on that Johnny has invited has worn glasses. I just want to know if your whole family wears glasses. Your whole family. The whole family.
The
like,
whole family does not wear
okay,
glasses.
just wanna make
No.
sure. But everybody in the chat does.
There's a follow-up question here.
Everybody on here.
There is a follow-up question.
Go for it.
Knowing Johnny, the follow-up question would be that while you may have glasses, do you actually need the glasses, or are they simply cosmetic?
Oh, I definitely need them.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Like, don't even take them off until I get into bed. They bedside, and then when you get up, put the glasses on. It's bad.
Excuse me, knowing Johnny, these are not just cosmetic. Thank you.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, we know because I've seen you when you didn't have your glasses on one time, and you thought I was him. So,
But hey, what's up, CT? Oh, my bad.
No.
Teana, what are the colors? What are the colors of the university that you support?
Oh, scarlet and gray.
Oh, okay. Just checking. I just wanted to make sure I was verifying.
here we go.
Team.
Yes.
Trying to wait to see if Cam just takes CT off.
No. We're gonna leave
Are
that
you an
alone.
alum?
Here,
Are you alum, CT?
My mother is, my father is. I'm just simply, and my sister is. I'm simply a supporter. But I am a fan
Really, our
of
producer is
the
not.
Ohio State University.
Oh, the Ohio State University. Yes.
The Ohio State University. Yeah. Much. And I believe they won this weekend versus the team that some Easy Monday Motivation, the
Here we
podcast
go.
supports. Anyway,
So here we go. Don't even get them started. So I have a couple of questions. Oh yeah. See, my sister said, "E, leave us alone."
Come on, big. Come on, big sis. Come on, big sis. You know I love you, and I love your glasses. So what's the problem?
so sister's glasses too. Y'all fancy with it. You're fancy with it. Just like ain't no regular frame. No.
Yeah, and we have a couple of the same pair.
We're mine upside down and try to keep up with them because that's how smooth their glasses.
We are fancy now. So I have two questions for you, Teana. A couple of things you said that sparked another question. So you said, living paycheck to paycheck. I want to talk about that. Like, what does that mean? Because you're the first person I heard say that meant it in a good way, right? And then two, you talked about secure the bag, which I think is so freaking cool. But what advice would you give to us parents about kids? So this whole season, we are talking about the generational nuances around every topic that we discuss, right? I know growing up, we talked a little bit about money. I always say, like, everything I learned about money really comes from you and my mom and Katina, my sister-in-law. Everything I know about money comes from the three of y'all. So we talked about it a little bit, but they taught me what they knew, right? So what do we teach our kids? Like, what is some advice or some tips you can share with us to teach that next generation?
Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about paycheck to paycheck first. I'll answer that real quick. I believe that everyone should live paycheck to paycheck, meaning you should understand all the money that's coming in and tell all the money that's coming in where to go, down to every penny. Yeah. So live paycheck to paycheck. So after you've paid for your needs, so you paid for your rent or your mortgage, maybe your transportation, the bills that you must have, all those things, then first thing you need to do is pay yourself first. That's the first rule of money. So I'm also big on automation. So automate. If you know your bills and you've budgeted, then you know exactly how much you can afford to put away into savings. And I would say stretch that just a little bit. So if you, by your budget, you can afford to put maybe $120 per paycheck into your savings account, put in 130 just on GP. And the hope is that at the end of the first 2 weeks, you haven't had to go back into the savings account to pull nothing out. Yeah. And if you did, it was only $10 because you could afford 120, remember? So put your money into your savings account, right? And you want to fund your emergency fund first. Emergency fund is anywhere from 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses. Now, some would say fixed expenses, but your cable bill is fixed. It's something that you have to pay every month. So that's fixed. So I don't subscribe to that. I would say all the things that you must pay for in the event that you were unable to work or something happened and you couldn't work, you couldn't bring in any income. What is it that you would have to pay for in that regard? Usually that's just groceries, your transportation if you want to be able to sustain that while you're out. In some cases, you would say, "Hey, I'm going to sell this car because I'm on my back, maybe." And then your rent, right? So 3 to 6 months of that. Then after that, you really should be looking into how do you maximize your investment options, your growth of your money, whether that's through your 401k or your own brokerage account. So after you've paid yourself first, you got your savings for your fund money, you have your savings for your emergency fund. Once it's fully funded, that's when I'm saying you should be looking into investing. Beyond that, then you pay for your needs and then you have your wants. Make sense?
Makes
And
sense.
if that is all guided by goals that you set for short term and or long term, then you're set. And all the money is where you want it to be at the end of the pay period. And you're riding easy till you get paid again. I see your hand.
What if I want to spend my money on stupid stuff though?
Then it goes back to your SMART goals. Right?
What if my SMART goals are stupid?
Then
it's still your goal. And
Okay,
that's why I say that it's very individual.
Okay.
It is whatever it is that you want to do. But when you sit down and you think about, okay, where do I want to be in 3 months? Like, do I want to be able to take that cruise? And do I want to extend it from 5 days to 7 days? Do I want to be able to, I don't know, Johnny's got a graduate coming, right? All her money is going to senior year. I'm telling you, like
we're thinking about it today. All of it.
Yes, just kiss it goodbye. So in preparation for that, planning for that, looks like, okay, well, am I going to curb any of my holiday spending in order to be able to afford that without feeling the feels stressed out?
I need a second
job. And you might. And it's like, okay, if I need a second job, when do I need it? When is the best time for me to secure that second job, and how many hours per week am I really going to put towards it, even though I really don't want to work it? Do I want to do just 2 days every once in a while, or am I in the thick of things trying to take care of this? Like, is it a necessity that I get a second job, or is it just this will be extra for Jay?
So I think
those are the things to think about.
We're in a good space. So I want to just ask a clarifying question on Eric's question. So what if Johnny wanted to buy some Louis Vuitton frames for her glasses, but Terry isn't in agreement that that's the glasses she should buy? What advice would you give in that situation?
Tell Terry to mind his own business.
Ooh.
One way to deal with it.
Terry on the line. Somebody get Terry on the line. Somebody.
I'm upstairs and he's downstairs and he can't hear me right now, y'all.
That's why she's talking big stuff.
Actually, he's secretly
what up,
watching.
Terry?
Don't tell you.
Mr. E changed some things up. So as I've said a number of times while we've been on this call, that I do believe that budgeting and finances is individual. There in the couples, people do things in varying ways. Sometimes they split all the bills, whether that's a 50-50 split, 60-40, whatever, that's up to them. Others of them pull their money together. Others of them pull it together only for the necessities that are for the family. And then the rest of the money is theirs to do whatever it is that they want to do. So in that case, what I would say is, do you have any joint goals? Have those been served first? If they have, who are you to tell me whether or not I can have the Louis Vuitton frames? If they haven't, then Johnny, you really should rethink whether or not that's a fight you want to have later on, given that your joint goals have not been met.
Yeah.
So in this case, in real time, you got a graduate to prepare for, and not only leading up to graduation, but then after graduation, whatever her choice or her path is going to need a little bit of funding, right?
Yeah.
He was talking about just at the beginning. Is that really what you want to do? complete.
Right.
But at least weigh the decision. So I think there's a lot of maturity required for marriage and first and foremost, or even relationship. There's a lot of maturity that's required, some selflessness. So you have to be able to hear what the other person is saying, and maybe not in real time,
That's right.
Come
That's
on,
right.
horse, but come around to make a different decision.
And just real quick, like I remember you sharing with us, like make it not so serious to have that. If you're in a relationship and you guys need to have a financial conversation, like make it not so serious. Turn it into like a little fun date night. Give your little, if you drink a cocktail, get a cocktail. If you have a sweet treat, get a little sweet treat, whatever it is, and then just sit and have a conversation about it and like really plan things out and not make it so tense and serious. Like we need to talk, because if you make it,
nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
Listen,
Wants that.
like you know what? Boo. Boo. Sometimes you know what? All this coddling to real conversation sometimes just doesn't. It like stirs me to be like, wait. If we're together and we need to have a financial conversation, and I have to always make it enjoyable, and you're doing stupid stuff that I don't enjoy.
Oh, well, but we never said always. We never said always.
I'm just saying, like, did you
say always, Teana?
I didn't say always.
This is conversation.
But I do think that there is value in sitting down with your mate and talking about what it is that we desire to accomplish.
Yeah.
Now, most people do it once a year, New Year's resolutions or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, if it's date night, what else are y'all talking about?
Nothing.
Judas, can we get to something meaty at some point? Like, what are our dreams and aspirations? Because there's really not a whole lot that money doesn't touch. And so,
that's true.
What are y'all talking about if you're not?
And then at the same time, to your point, E, I think there are times where it has to be like, look, I can't like sugarcoat this. This ain't no like, right. We're not gonna make this conversation.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you how crazy financial wellness is in a relationship. Sometimes people do not realize that their decisions impact the whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you have somebody who you're with, and to your point, you don't have aligned goals, and they go out and they counting your money as if it's their money, and they making bad decisions and putting you in positions to have to be the most responsible party, even though you're not making the bad choices. I think financial wellness creates stress on relationships because people don't always want to be responsible for the impacts that they have in these scenarios. And I think that you're calling out a wonderful thing to say, as a couple, you should have a financial goal. And you should sit down and talk about these things in ways that are conducive to both of you, not me. Because I'm more of a rigid person. Be like, hey, look, this was about to happen. All right, we good? Like, I want to have clarity in the conversation. When y'all talk about that play, I'm like, no, because then we laugh, and then you walk away, you thinking, ha, and I'm like, no, and you like, ha, and I'm like, no, you like, ha, I'm like, no, we're not on the same page.
Not on page. Yeah.
So.
But you know what? I think even if you are on the same page at some point, you have to revisit and have these conversations pretty often, because being financially, I guess, savvy is the word I want to use right now. It's a practice. It's not something that you just do once, we talk about it, and now we're good. Terry and I have been together 18 years. We've been married 18 years now. There has to be several financial conversations to get us through, because we're like, okay, let's sit down and have this conversation again, right? I think it's a practice about it, right? So it just doesn't happen once and then it's over.
I agree with that. And I definitely think that one of the drivers for it, if I'm listening to you, is the discipline of being able to budget, being able to look at your true expenses, your true costs. Because like, I know right now, I'm like, oh yeah, I know how much money I spend a month. Like I do. But then, like, if I add in my scotch cost, I don't know how much money I spend sometimes, because it vary based on the examples we talk about. It can vary. If I'm out of town or I'm traveling, I may spend a lot more on a bottle that I'm going to bring home to my bar than if I'm home, right? Yeah. And that is a long-term sort of, because like the Dolce Agramano that I got up here, come on now, I can't find that here. So when I'm somewhere, I'm buying it that's something I'm not truly counting into my budget or my expenses, but I'm on vacation. It's something I want, something I don't need. And if I was thinking about it tactically, I could have been like, you know what? I see it here. I can order it from here. Let me put this in my budget where I can save to X amount, then order it, have it delivered, and it's not an impulse buy. Is that more of an example of what you're saying that we could do?
You absolutely can. I just want to get people to get into the habit of building the muscle of discipline and being thoughtful.
Yeah.
Being thoughtful as it relates to your money. So if you understand how much money you have and you are thinking about or being thoughtful about what it is that you desire to do in the future, then you begin to put that money away. And then the impulse buy is not really impulse. It's just, but it does trigger a high. When you pull it off the shelf and you're like, I don't care how much it costs, run it, right?
Yes.
But you had an idea of what it would cost and you prepared for that. Then when you buy it, it didn't derail any of your plans because it was a part of the plan.
But Tiana, I feel like what I heard you say earlier was that you need to tell your money where it's going. So it's not that there's ever something you don't budget. It is that you have budgeted for, in the language of what we've used, is an impulse buy. So there's a line item that says impulse buy, or there's a line item that says however you miscellaneous or whatnot, but you've accounted for you having that spontaneous or impulsive moment, because if you don't, then now you've overextended yourself. And if you've extended yourself, now you're in the cycle of having to figure out what you're doing, because now you
How to
might
get
be
back.
exactly. So I feel like you said that, but it wasn't necessarily specifically stated that in line item number 36 in your budget. If you're using Excel or if whatever tool you're using, there is one line that says impulse. And you should, I remember some years ago, Melanie and we learned that she is a spender and I was a saver. So we had very different ways of thinking about money. And then we went through some life challenge and we became present buyers. Right. And so it meant that it wasn't that we were thinking about saving or spending. It was about what was happening in the present and could we respond to the thing that was going to meet the need that we had because of where we were in our lives. And so can you kind of talk a little bit about, like, sometimes when life is happening and you need to go to dinner, but you didn't budget dinner, but you need dinner because the stress of the week was out there. How should somebody think about, like, when life is lifing? Again, that's my favorite phrase from all of our time. Like when life is lifing, how does one need to be thinking about or considering? Did we just say it in terms of your budgeting for that, or how should one think about that?
That's a really good question because that is something that I encounter all the time. In some ways, my feelings dictate whether or not we're going out or not. Was the day high or was the day low? Thankfully, I do also have a partner who can temper that, and the same for me. And so there are some times where I'm like, I just don't feel like cooking. And he'll be like, well, you didn't feel like it yesterday or the day before. And I think we at the end.
What we gonna do?
So are you gonna pull something out for me to cook, or like what is we gonna do? Or it truly becomes like, okay, well, if we do this, you know that in the next 2 weeks, right? Because there is a balance between, this paycheck and the next paycheck. It's like, well, if we do it now, then that means one less next week. So there's a little bit of a balance there. And I don't mean to give the impression that budgeting is so rigid that you can't make those changes. But it also means, like, if you go out again, then the discretionary spending, right? So the fun money is reduced. You don't get to go out to eat and keep the money that you was going to Old Navy with or Target with, right? Something's got to give, right? So that's robbing Peter to pay Paul within your own budget, right? So if shopping is one of those things, and some ebbs and flows in there. So yes, there's room for that. But in truth, when you're being thoughtful about your expenses, then you really do budget for the impulse buys. You budget for the highs and lows. And one of the things that we do in my house is that we have to be pretty rigid about the calendar. I'm all over the place with work in the community. Our kids are in sports. My husband is a coach as well as his full-time job. And so we can be anywhere. So we're really kind of thoughtful about, ain't no sense in maxing out the grocery budget because we ain't cooking. Like, we got football, we got Bible study, we got you got a committee meeting and a board meeting this week. You're not cooking. So ain't no sense in buying up all the hamburger and the pork chops at the grocery store because we're really going to spend it at Chipotle. So let's not. Let's just make sure the kids have what they need for their lunches every day and done. So when I'm talking about being thoughtful, I'm talking about really being thoughtful, not only just about the money, but also about just life and pulling it all together. Mm-hmm. And so my advice to parents is include your kids on that trip, on that journey. My second oldest, Ava, will Chipotle you to death.
Oh my God.
And Sheen cart to death. Yes. You'd be like, girl, bye with that. No, there's no money for the Sheen cart. Mom, well, I was just wondering what the budget is going to be for back to school. Because I've already started putting, like, literally this was our summer. I put stuff in my cart and I just need to know how much to take out. But she's been conditioned. She's been conditioned to at least know that there is a budget and we're not just doing it all. Of course, she wants the latest of sneakers. We are sneakerheads in our house. So she wanted a specific pair of J's. I think they were Jordan 4s. And we were like, that's not in the budget for you. The max is about $100. And so she was like, cool. I still got birthday money. Exactly. The no button. He's pushing it. She's like, I still got birthday money. My husband's like, bet. You pay your part and our part comes with it. And so I think that there are ways, age appropriate ways to bring your children into the process. Even if it's for my younger ones, they have a habit of at the grocery store, they want everything. They want all the snacks.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Be like, okay, well, within the budget, y'all got $20 to figure out what chips are we getting, what fruit snacks, what fruit cups, all that madness. Y'all got $20. Oh, they start to add it up then they start looking at the sticker. This one's on sale, Mom. Well, you had 20. Get them little iPods out. How much you got left? Don't put nothing else in this cart. So because we as a family have a budget that we're trying to keep so that at the end of the week or on Friday, we're able to go to Scene 75, or because you want your friend to come over and spend the night. And that comes with all the other snacks for the, watching the movies. And so just being cognizant, bringing them into decision making, making sure that they are not hyper focused on money, but they have a concept of what it takes to earn it. So, if they want the extra pair of sneakers, well, you got to work for it. And your hourly rate is for this task, or this task will get you an extra $5. How many $5 tasks are you willing to do to get the $50 that you want for the Sheen cart? Because guess what? I work on an hourly rate, or there may be a time where you do work on an hourly rate. One of my friends was from Detroit. He wanted a pair of Gators. He was like, oh man, Gators is $1,000. I would have to work 60 hours to be able to afford these. Never mind.
Yeah, there you go.
Point given, point taken. And so these are the kinds of things that you can do with children, and you can make it age appropriate. You can bring them into the budgeting process, depending upon how old they are. My oldest is 25. Sometimes she listens, sometimes she doesn't. I've put her on, I won't say countless budgets, but a few. And I'd be like, Amari, you could really meet this goal and do it quickly if you stop those Starbucks, like just cut it in half. Girl, put the amount that you think is reasonable on a gift card and use the gift card. You can spend it fast, you can spend it slow, But once the gift card is up, you're done, because there has to be a stopping point, because you got goals. Now, if you don't want the goal, if you don't want to go to Jamaica with your friends, fine. Keep going to Starbucks and Chipotle.
And see what happens. Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
Because otherwise, even though you have credit, you're going to run it up and you won't be able to pay it off because you've made these poor decisions. So something's got to give. You got to be willing to stop one thing. So
where do you live?
I live in sunny Mansfield, Ohio.
Mansfield, Ohio. I was just checking because I'm about to put an Amazon line 9 in budget in ours, and I didn't know where I would live once I put it in there. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes, yes, sir.
So as we're getting ready to like round it out and close it out, you were talking about kids and inviting them into the conversation. Teana, you got to let us know what you have created for these young kids to invite them into the conversation about money.
Yes, and you know what? If I wasn't running behind, I would have had them right here, but they are just a stone throw away. So
Okay. I would have it too, but I gave mine to little kids. So I want to share.
Is she abusing somebody over there? It feels like she's beating somebody. I'm worried about it.
Rummaging through a box. Sorry. Y'all can hear that?
Yes, you heard it all.
No, of course we didn't hear that.
Hear it all. Okay. All right. So I've created a couple of things on my journey with Tea Talk. The first is squad goals. Can y'all see that? Maybe?
Yep.
All right, squad goals. And then the second was bro code, because representation matters. And I wanted to make sure that kids could be brought into the process. And so squad goals is a girl's guide to prayer. See it? Self-care and money management too. And then for the boys, we have prayer, healthy habits, and money management. And within these, there is a, sorry, my words are leaving me. What is it called, Teana? Sorry.
Activities.
Okay. So there's budget bingo. Excuse me. Bingo. So it's all about doing the activities that we want them to do anyway, right? So eating fruits and vegetables, drinking water, going outside to play, calling a grandparent, reading a book, doing their homework, doing their chores. So you essentially assign a dollar amount to each one of the squares at the beginning of the week. They set out what it is that they want to earn. And over the course of the week, if they actually do it, they cross it out, they check in with you. And then at the end of the week, if they got bingo, you got to pay up as a parent or guardian in their life. And then they, on a weekly basis, they determine whether they want to save it for the big thing or spend it or share it. And they also get to do a little bit of a check and balance of, what did I say that I was going to earn? What did I commit to? And what did I actually do? So that's just getting in the routine of really maximizing what it is that we can do in a week and maximizing our money. And then also the decision making. And right, and try to stay out of their decision making. They might set out to buy some rollerblades or hoverboard or whatever it is that they want, a book, machine cart, but get lazy through the week. And then they'll still be begging you to give them what it is they asked for, even though they didn't earn it. And so it creates a good conversation piece. So that's squad goals and bro code. In addition to that, I also created a budget planner, which is available on Amazon.
Okay.
And in it, it allows you to not only set your goals, but also to do your budget, itemizing everything, every red cent, putting it where you want to go. It has a mid-month check-in and an end-of-month check-in, so that you too can check in on what it is that you set out to do. Did you have a budget for going out to eat? Did you go over? What modifications do you need to make in order to stay on budget for the next 2 weeks, so that at the end of the month, you reach the goals that you have? And then last but not least is Money Makers in the Making, which is an actual written literary work, which is about earning money. It teaches kids about the different types of income that they can have, whether it be active, passive, or portfolio. So this is also available. All of them are available on Amazon. And I spoke about Secure the Bag, which is a game that I've created. It works really well for youth groups, community groups, any types of like financial wellness expos, things of that nature, and in schools in general. Ohio, I think 2023 was the first class that was required to have financial literacy in their curriculum as a graduate, but before that, it wasn't required. But it pairs really well with the teachings that they're getting in a financial literacy class, really gamifying the learning experience and making it stick.
Come on, that's my cousin, just in case anybody wanted to know. If anybody was asking, that's my cousin. Okay.
Your cousin twin.
A little scatterbrain all over the place, but you got it.
That's perfect, T. That's perfect. Fellas, I'm going to pass it over to you. If you have any last questions, or E, I can give it over to you.
Well, I think this was a wonderful conversation. And Teana, you have brought something to our conversation that we haven't had before, which is just this wonderful, rounded perspective and just so informative. So thank you so much for everything you delivered today. I guarantee that I'm going to have to go back and watch this, and I may have to buy a couple of books, because apparently my scotch isn't in my budget, along with all of the other shenanigans that I have. Actually, I'll be honest, I don't have a budget. Okay. I don't have a budget. I have a certain amount of money that I do not exceed every month, which I feel
then
like
you have a budget.
No, well, I'm talking about on things that I shouldn't spend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, so we're not going to get into mine.
Shape up, E. You got things to do, okay?
No, I'm not going to shape up. I'm just going to send my money to you. You're going to make money for me, right? Is that not how this works? I mean, that's what we're doing. You're going to create my financial wellness, because I'm going to give you my finances, and you're going to do well with them. That's what I like.
Well, as a coach, I do offer that service. If it's
just
beyond you, and you're just like, I just can't do it here. Take it and give it back to me. I can do that.
As a matter of fact,
I've done that with her before.
Okay, all right. Look, I was playing, but hold up. I was playing, but
and every time I make a purchase, I hear Tiana's voice in my head says, "You're only as rich as you're willing to be disciplined. You're only as rich as you're willing to be disciplined." And I'm still buying this bottle of tequila. Thank you very much, Teana.
Thank God that I introduced you to $20 tequila instead of the $50 tequila.
Yes,
See?
There you go.
Thoughtful. That's called being thoughtful.
I know, but then at the same time, I'm like, ooh, the $250 bottle of tequila.
Right. It's gonna taste so much better. It's not.
Yes, it is, and I'm gonna drink it very slowly, and it's done in one day. No, I'm gonna behave. But thank you so much. I do want to go to my man CT and ask, like, based on all of the stuff that we talked about, what do you think Grandma would have to say in this subject, in this conversation?
Oh, E, this has been such a rich and wonderful dialogue. And Grandma, season 2 might say, "Come here, baby."
But in season
3 would say, "Sit up in your chair and listen up."
Hey.
Grandma might say, in the spirit of our sister and tea talk, our word today is tea talk. And I need you to listen up, because there are some things you possibly have heard during our conversation today, but Grandma says, let me amplify it just a little bit more so it sticks with you. The T in Tea Talk would be, while our sister Teana would say, budget, Grandma would say, track your income and your expenses. Know where your money is going, because if you don't know where your money is going, then you're not going anywhere. That's the T. She would say in the E, she would say, you need to make sure that you educate yourself. Continuous learning, whether it is reading books about it, whether it's buying one of the books that we just learned about, whether it is putting yourself in the best position to listen to a podcast or go to a place that helps you learn something that you don't already know, so you can track your income and your expenses properly, because you educated yourself. The A&T talk, and I think you said it already. You said you need to automate. You need to automate your savings. You need to automate your investments, so you don't have to actually think about it. You've already planned for it, and that thing is already coming out. So you're not trying to figure out where you're going with it, and that's the T that you need to start with. But what is it that we need to talk about? Grandma says, well, the next T you need to think is to think long term. Sometimes people get stuck trying to deal in just the moment, and Grandma would say, no, baby, there's there's a lot of life to live. So you need to have a long way to think about how you are going to not just invest, not just to spend, not just to save, but how you can make sure you're tracking with an educated mind, because you automated something that allows you to think long term. Then she would say there's an A, and this is critical. You must assess your financial health regularly. Sometimes we go to the scale and we check our weight. Sometimes we will open up our bank account and we check it, but we don't necessarily know it's healthy. We don't know it's healthy because we haven't paid attention to, thank you, Teana, the everyday making sure that I know where my money is going and I'm telling it where I should go, because I'm thinking long term. Now, here's the real thing. A part of what gets us all mixed up is the L. Grandma would say, if you're still sitting up, you need to live within your means. Sometimes you want to live like you saw somebody on social media turned up, but that's not you, boo-boo. You need to go in and live within the means that you have, because you've assessed the health of your finances, because you are thinking term, and that's where the T becomes really healthy. And then we start with this idea that there is one more thing that allows us to T talk in the way that we need to. I need you to remember to K, keep it calm and stay disciplined. When you keep it calm and stay disciplined, you flatlined in it where there is no ups and downs and no ins and no outs. This is this way to know that the discipline that I've placed inside of my finances allows me to live within my means. And when I live within my means, because I've assessed the health of my finances, I can think long term. And I can think long term. Why? Because I've automated some savings and some investments, because I've educated myself in a way that allows me to know that I've tracked my income and my expenses in a way that I can talk T too. Thank you, Grandma.
Thank you, Grandma.
CT.
Yes, thank you, Grandma. Oh my
Yes,
God, we
sir.
did the T talk. Okay, all right. Well, you know, I ain't tracking everything always. That's my T. I'm just playing. Nah, that was dope. I definitely love that. We're gonna have to run the Grandma back. But you know, Teana, I don't know if you've ever checked this question. But Johnny, what you got?
No.
Oh, we showed up because your cousin here today. That's what
It
we
doesn't
doing.
even phase me.
Yeah, that's what you get. Yep.
It
Get
doesn't
her.
even phase me.
Yeah, did. We got you anyway.
Got it. And got her on the screen.
Bet you I don't smile.
Too late. You there.
I know.
Johnny.
I'm still just smiling.
That's good.
Okay, so I remember, Tiana, I don't know if you remember this. We were all, I forget where we were, but it was all of us sitting around a table and we started talking about money. And I think we were talking about savings in particular. And I got really quiet. And Jasmine, another girlfriend of ours, looked at me and said, "Oh, wait a minute. What's going on with you?" And I was like, because I'm embarrassed. I was so embarrassed because we were talking about savings. And at the time, I didn't have a savings and I thought I should be at a certain place and all the coulda, woulda, shouldas, whatever. But I was so embarrassed. And during that conversation, each of us started sharing like our own little journeys, right? Everybody had something going on. When we walked away from this conversation, I realized like one, there's freedom in having conversations with people in a trusted circle and having that conversation around finances. Also two, that I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. So whatever you thinking that you're going through, you're not alone, right? I feel like that's a recurring theme in all of our conversations. Whatever you're going through, you are not alone. There are other people experiencing some of those same things. Mm-hmm. And there's such, and the last thing about that conversation is that I had so much embarrassment about my financial situation because I thought I was supposed to be a certain place, or I thought I should be earning so much more money. There's so much emotion tied to our finances, just like what we were talking about earlier. And I think it's really important for us to tap into whatever that is. So like, are you spending because you're just making impulsive decisions and it gives you like this rush of dopamine and gives you a high? Are you trying to fill a void? Are you overcompensating for something that happened before, or something that happened with your parents? And so now you want to be this perfect, like Teana was sharing with us before. Like, what is it? But or maybe you're just fine with money, right? And you know how to handle it. It does not control you. You are very well disciplined. But I think it's important that we tap into whatever that emotional connection is, because in order for us to really become disciplined, Like that's where it starts. Like the other day, I was sitting on Amazon adding stuff to my cart. I said, why am I doing this? Oh, because you're anxious. You have other things on your mind. So now you're just adding stuff to Fashion Nova and Amazon, getting ready to make a purchase of things you really don't need. Right. So that emotional connection between our finances and our emotions, like, can't ignore it. We got to pay attention to it. So I thought that was a really important piece of our conversation today.
Yeah, I like that.
Agree.
Yeah, I definitely like that. Yeah, and I definitely think that the emotional context of how we spend and what drives us to spend is important. I definitely know that there have been times in the past where I'm like, oh yeah, I went and did that just so I could feel better because I could do it. But did I need to do it? No. Right. Did it serve the real purpose that I wanted? No. Did it further my goals? No. There was no gain from it except that little, to your point, that little bit of, I could show myself that I could do it, or somebody else saw me do something, right? So I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I get that. Sure. Okay. For me today, your message from your AOC. Why y'all making faces? Why y'all making faces? I ain't even said nothing yet. All right,
I watched the show.
You have?
Come on. See, it ain't just us.
All right, so my message to everybody is deal with your ducks. And when I say deal with your ducks, I mean getting your ducks in order, and also acknowledging there's going to be things that you need to focus on and things that you need to let go, right? Mm-hmm. Because what is the thing that they say about ducks? It can just roll off their back, right? But at the same time, there's a lot of work that ducks do when you watch them swim. You have no idea how hard their little legs is moving, but it looks like they just gliding over the water with no effort, right? By getting your ducks in order, you are going to be under the surface, working the engines, working the things that you need to be doing so you can propelling yourself in the ways you need to, but also letting the things that you can't control roll off your back. Because that is what it means to really be disciplined, to really take ownership of the pieces that you can control and focus on your goals moving in those ways. But then the things you can't control, and the things that just come, letting them roll off and not letting them be the things that be the deal breakers or the things that subside your true intentions or the goals that you're focused on. So get your ducks in order. Deal with your ducks. And that's from your boy, your AOC. All right.
See, deal with your ducks. Come on.
Deal with your ducks. Deal with your ducks. All right. Now, another reason why I said deal with your ducks, because whenever, we talk about financial wellness, it made me think of Scrooge McDuck. And I'm like, I wonder whether he had financial wellness classes because somebody didn't teach him right. Okay. Because I didn't know you was swimming in money. If I could, I would swim in money. I'm just saying I would. Like, I'd have a whole room that'd be just money. And I'm like, all right, y'all, give me a second. I got a couple laps to put it in here. And it come out like my pockets be fuller. And then we talking about a cash diet. I'm like, yeah, I had to go in there go fill up my cash diet, right? Man. All right. So as we round out today's episode, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And I want to turn to you, Teana, and get our final thoughts. If you have any messages or anything you want to leave our audience with, this is your time.
Well, thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I had a blast with y'all today. Tea Talk is all about spilling the financial tea and normalizing conversations about money. And I think we've done that today. So if you can take anything away from this conversation, I hope that you recognize that money is a very individualized thing, and getting your ducks in a row, getting your budget together is really an individual thing, if not a household thing. Yours doesn't have to look like mine, and mine doesn't have to look like yours in order for us to be successful, but it should be intentional. So be thoughtful and be intentional when it comes to your money. Don't be afraid of it. Don't put it off. Confront it, because you can't deal with what it is that you won't confront. And take inventory of what you have. I hesitated because what God has given you, if I'm being true to myself. Take inventory of all the things that you have that God has given you and put it to its best use. that's what budgeting is about understanding where you are so you can know where you're going. So that would be my tea for you for today. I am on socials, so you can find me on Instagram, ttalk.teana is where you can find me. And you can also check me out on my website, getttalk.com. So I hope that this tea was helpful. I hope that we helped normalize a conversation. Turn this on with your friends, and then y'all grab some tea, sweet or otherwise, and have some conversations about money, because I think we're all better for it. We don't all have to be in the same place, but you never know when you can encourage the next person to do better about their finances. So that's it. And that's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, CT, I'm going to come to you. Final thoughts, sir? I mean, I don't know we can top hers, but, you know, we got to try.
There's no top. I like the thing that popped in my head was, remember the movie? Show me the money. I feel like that's what you did for us tonight, right? Wherever we happen to be in our own station of life, I do think there was very practical wisdom and sound counsel around how we should think about money as it relates to us individually. But then we are in a society that oftentimes can influence how we consider what we should do with that money. And so I appreciate that you are a resource that exists for all of our Easy Monday motivationers and even ourselves. Thank you for being able to be committed to your journey so you could have a story to tell all of us, so we could have a platform that we could be on, that you could share with us to inspire us to the next thing for us. So I'm grateful that you're here. This won't be the last time you see us. It won't be the last time you hear from me. You might get a call tomorrow. I know you are.
All good.
Because you and Johnny's family, you good people, right? And good people get to meet good people, and when we partner, good things happen. So thanks, T.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, Johnny Malige, final thoughts?
I'm just so proud. I'm so proud. I can't look at her while I'm saying it or else I'll tear up, but I'm just so proud, like, of the work that you're doing in our community for our people. Gosh, we need this. Like you said, normalizing this conversation about our finances, because I don't know, it's just like, you know, we've had hundreds of conversations about money. And so I just appreciate you so much and appreciate the work that you're doing. Every time I see you're doing something else to help out the next generation or our community, like, oh, you're just using your gift. And I'm so freaking proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so glad that you are here with us today to have this conversation. And in the spirit of Easy Monday motivation, what better way than to kick off a conversation about finances, right? And keep people motivated. And what I love about you is, like CT said, you make it practical. You make it really practical, and you keep us motivated, and you just make it real. Like you don't feel judged. You don't feel like you're doing something wrong or shame or guilt or whatever. You're like, hey, this is what it is. And in order for us to grow, we have to have these real conversations. So thank you for normalizing it. Thank you for making it real. And I just love you. And I love this conversation we had today.
I see things differently now.
Both of y'all turned your glasses up for real.
I mean, because when Johnny speaks, we got to turn up.
See what I'm saying? Like, this is why I invite females to the conversation, because when you're with the guys, this is what happens. Like, when they talk, it's all good and serious. And then when I talk, glasses are being flipped upside down.
You did good. I was proud of you, Johnny.
What are you talking about? We only did it at the end. I let you have the whole show. I didn't do it except once.
Johnny, are you okay? Are you okay?
Are you okay, Johnny?
Not at all. Not at all.
Well, I'm sorry, Johnny. I did not mean to offend you.
I did.
But
you did.
Thank you, cousin Teana. Thank you so much. I think I may have to reach out to you because, you know, in all honesty, like I'm pretty good with money, but could I be better? Yes. Could I utilize some guidance? Yes. Could we all be better? Yes, we can. And that is the goal. That is why we are motivation. We show up here every Monday to supply you with opportunities to grow in any ways that you can. In any way that any conversation that we're having, the whole goal of it is to try to focus on growth, being the best version of ourselves, and building. So I want to go ahead and go around and say my final thoughts are: make sure that you get your wellness because it's very important every day. In every way, you should be well. Physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, emotionally, occupationally, every way. There was one that I made up, but they told me it wasn't in there. You said it was wellness sex. There was no sexual wellness. Okay. All right. So every other way, make sure that you're good. Make sure you're covered because apparently that one wasn't in there. What? I'm only trying to remember the list. She said there was 7 and one of them wasn't in there. I keep mixing up the one that wasn't in there. I don't remember which one it was, but I know there was one that wasn't in there. It was the one I just mentioned. So anyway,
definitely was not in.
But again, I know it's not there. So I called out that it wasn't included. I don't know why anybody's mad. Okay. So, you can follow us on YouTube. You can see us on Spotify. We're on Apple, wherever your podcasts are there with the RSS system. We send it out everywhere. We do send out our link tree. You can follow, like, share, comment, and make sure that you put those 5 stars up there because we want the algorithm to put us to the top. If you go search Easy Monday Motivation, you're going to see us right there because we are that. We are motivation. So with that, thank you all for tuning in, and you can just chill until the next episode. Peace. Everybody have a wonderful night.
Peace.
Peace.